talking about teacher tenure in grades K through 12. Our main claim is that the tenure system should be abolished. First, I'd like to start with the definition of tenure. Tenure is referred to is that in which professors at university and primary and secondary school levels are granted the right not to be fired without cause after an initial probationary period. My main claim I'm starting with today is that tenure is a redundant system, that it is too easy for teachers to acquire, that tenure doesn't help students, that administrators often leave bad teachers in the classroom or circumvent the system because of its difficulty and cost, and finally with the solution of using the Oregon or Toledo models. My first claim is that tenure is a redundant system. In a quote from Should Teachers Get Tenure, it says, with job protection through court rulings, collective bargaining, and the state and federal laws, teachers no longer need tenure to protect them from dismissal. Tenure was originally established to protect teachers from the tyranny of principals, politicians, and the people, and to allow them more freedom in the classroom. However, with unions and worker protection laws, teachers don't need tenure anymore because they're covered in so many other areas. Also in the 14th Amendment states that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, like its counterpart in the 5th Amendment, provides that no state may provide any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of laws. This applies to everyone, including teachers. So you can see tenure is not needed to protect teachers because they're already protected, and all the money that's being put into the tenure system can be put somewhere else without having ill effects on the teachers. My second claim is that tenure is too easy for just any teachers to get. Again, from an article, Should Teachers Get Tenure, states that with most states granting tenure after 3 years, teachers have not had the opportunity to show their work or their ineptitude. In a November 2008 study by the University of Washington Center on Reinventing Public Education, they found that the first 2 to 3 years of teaching do not predict post-tenure performance. So when teachers just first come into the field, their teaching style changes a lot, they learn a lot of new things, and you can't really tell how they're going to teach in the long run after just the first 2 or 3 years. My third claim that tenure doesn't help students. First, I'd like to start off with that having good teachers in the classroom is very important to student performance. In an article by Jesse Bonner, she states that a growing body of research demonstrates the dramatic difference effective teachers can play in a student's life, from reducing teenage pregnancies to increasing a student's lifetime earnings. So teachers in the classroom, they're the ones who are with the students every day, not only teaching them the subject, but life skills and how to interact in a proper social environment. Tenure also doesn't help students because it allows teachers to become complacent. Teacher tenure creates complacency because teachers know they are unlikely to lose their jobs. Tenure removes incentive for teachers to put in more than minimal effort and to focus on improving their teaching. Tenure also makes seniority the main factor in dismissal decisions. Instead of teacher performance and quality, tenure laws maintain the last hired, first fired policy. So it doesn't matter if you're a young, really good, motivated teacher. If they're going to fire someone, they're going to fire you because you don't have tenure, instead of maybe an older professor who is not as effective in the classroom anymore. So it doesn't take teacher effectiveness into the equation, which is really much more important than seniority. My fourth claim is that administrators often leave bad teachers in the classroom or circumvent the system because of its difficulty or cost. A June 2009 study by the New Teachers Project found that 81% of school administrators knew a poorly performing tenured teacher at their school. However, 86% of administrators said they do not always pursue dismissal of teachers because of the costly and time-consuming process. As to the cost, it can cost an average of $250,000 to hire a teacher in New York City. And administrators often circumvent the system by what they call teacher buyouts, where they basically pay a teacher to leave the school. So, and they can pay up to $100,000 just to get a poor teacher to leave the school so that they don't have to deal with the tenure system. We would like to suggest the use of the Oregon and Toledo models instead of the tenure system. In Oregon, they enacted a new law introduced by the GOP Senate Majority Leader Gene Derfler, who puts both teachers and administrators on short-term renewable contracts. Teachers for 2 years and administrators for 3 years. An expedient appeal process is available to teachers whose contract is allowed to expire by a school board. In this system, schools are encouraged to fire incompetent teachers and, if necessary, endure the appeals process under the new law, and it provides that the state will reimburse school boards for all or part of the cost they incur for a teacher's dismissal or non-renewal of contract. So it takes away a lot of the burden on schools firing an incompetent teacher because they don't have to pay for it, so they'll be more likely to use the system. Thank you.